Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more exciting and beautiful content like this. Please leave a comment to let me know what you think about this video and if you liked it. Watch the video to the end to see all the highlights and not miss a thing. I hope you enjoy watching it now. Your Michael Peter. Rizal Park, Luneta, also known as Luneta Park or simply Luneta, is a historic urban park located in Ermita, Manila. It is considered one of the largest urban parks in the Philippines, covering an area of 58 hectares. The site on where the park is situated was originally known as Bagumbayan during the Spanish colonial period. It is adjacent to the historic walled city of Intramuros. Situated on the eastern shore of Manila Bay, the park plays a significant role in shaping the history of the Philippines. The execution of Filipino patriot Jose Rizal on December 30, 1896 in the same area fanned the flames of the 1896 Philippine Revolution against the Kingdom of Spain. The park was officially named in his honor, and the monument enshrining his remains serves as the park's symbolic focal point. The Declaration of Philippine Independence from the United States was held here on July 4, 1946, as well as later political rallies, including those of Ferdinand Marcos and Corazon Aquino, the latter having culminated in the EDSA Revolution in 1986. History. Spanish colonial period. The execution of Jose Rizal on December 30, 1896. Rizal Park's history began in 1820 when the Paseo de Luneta was completed just south of the walls of Manila on a marshy patch of land next to the beach during the Spanish rule. Prior to the park, the marshy land was the location of a small town called Barrio Nuevo, New Borough, or Bagumbayan in Tagalog, that dates back to 1601. The town and its churches, being close to the walled city, were strategically used as cover by the British during their attack. The Spanish authorities anticipated the danger posed by the settlements that immediately surrounded Intramuros in terms of external attacks, yet church officials advocated for these villages to remain. Because of the part they played during the British invasion, they were cleared after the short rule of the British from 1762 to 1764. The Church of Bagumbayan originally enshrined the Black Nazarene. Because of the order to destroy the village and its church, the image was then transferred to San Nicolas de Tolentino inside Intramuros, with a copy then translated to Quiapo Church. This has since been commemorated by the translation of the relic every January 9, which is more commonly known as the Feast of the Black Nazarene. This is why the processions of 9/11 January 9th have begun there in the park beginning in 2007. After the clearing of the Bagumbayan settlement, the area later became known as Bagumbayan Field, where the Cuartel La Luneta, Luneta Barracks, a Spanish military hospital, which was destroyed by one of the earthquakes of Manila, and a moat surrounded outwork of the walled city of Manila, known as the Luneta because of its crescent shape. West of Bagumbayan Field was the Paseo de la Luneta, Plaza of the Lunette, named after the fortification, not because of the shape of the plaza, which was a long 100 by 300 meter, 330 feet times 980 feet, rectangle ended by two semicircles. It was also named Paseo de Alfonso XII, Plaza of Alfonso XII, after Alfonso XII, King of Spain during his reign from 1874 to 1885. Paseo de la Luneta was the center of social activity for the people of Manila in the early evening hours. This plaza was arranged with paths and lawns and surrounded by a wide driveway called La Calzada, the road, where carriages circulate. During the Spanish period from 1823 to 1897, most especially in the latter part, the place became notorious for public executions. A total of 158 political enemies of Spain were executed in the park. On February 17, 1872, three Filipino priests, Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora, collectively known as Gomburza, were executed by garrote, accused of subversion arising from the 1872 Cavite Mutiny. American colonial period. The Paseo de Luneta, around 1920s, the Rizal Monument was already present. Military Review on Luneta, lower right, 1931. It was during the American colonial period in the Philippines, when the Rizal Park's main landmark, the Rizal Monument, was built. On September 28, 1901, the United States-Philippine Commission approved Act No. 243, which would erect a monument in Luneta to commemorate the memory of José Rizal, Filipino patriot, writer and poet. The shrine was inaugurated on December 30, 1913, coinciding with Rizal's 17th death anniversary. The park, particularly the area that was then called Wallace Field, formerly Paseo de San Carlos, Transl. Plaza of St. Charles, was also chosen as the site of a national government center by Daniel Burnham, architect and city planner, who was commissioned by William Howard Taft to do the city plan of Manila in 1902. According to Burnham's plan, government buildings to be built in the park will have neoclassical edifices with Greco-Roman columns. A large Capitol building, which was envisioned to be the Philippine version of the United States Capitol, was to become its core. It was to be surrounded by other government buildings, but only two of those buildings were built around Agrifina Circle, facing each other. They are the Department of Agriculture, now the National Museum of Anthropology, and the Department of Finance, later became the Department of Tourism and now the National Museum of Natural History. These two buildings were completed before the Second World War. The park was also intended to become a Philippine version of the National Mall in Washington, D.C., with the planned building of the government offices. The site also served as a venue of the Manila Carnival and various expositions prior to the outbreak of World War II. Post-Commonwealth era, proclamation of independence at Rizal Park on July 4, 1946. In August 1954, President Ramon Magsaysay created the José Rizal National Centennial Commission to organize and manage the celebrations for the centennial of José Rizal's birth. Its plans include building a grand monument of José Rizal and the Rizal Memorial Cultural Center that would contain a national theater, a national museum, and a national library at the Luneta. The site was declared a national park on December 19, 1955, by virtue of Proclamation No. 234 signed by Magsaysay. The Luneta National Park spans an area of approximately 16.24 hectares, 40.1 acres, covering the area surrounding the Rizal Monument. The Commission of Parks and Wildlife, now Biodiversity Management Bureau, managed the site upon its establishment as a protected area. In 1957, President Carlos P. Garcia issued Proclamation No. 470 transferring the administration of the national park to the José Rizal National Centennial Commission. In 1961, in commemoration of Rizal's birth centennial, the National Library was inaugurated at the park. Its management was then handed over to the National Parks Development Committee, an attached agency of the Department of Tourism, created in 1963 by President Diosdado Macapagal. In 1967, the Luneta National Park was renamed to Rizal Park with the signing of Proclamation No. 299 by President Ferdinand Marcos. Through donations by the Taiwanese and Japanese governments, the Chinese and Japanese gardens were set up during Marcos' administration. The Rizal Park under NPDC Executive Director Teodoro Valencia was expanded. Valencia introduced the Concert at the Park event series during his management. On June 12, 1998, the park hosted many festivities which capped the 1998 Philippine Centennial, the event commemorating 100 years since the declaration of independence from Spain and the establishment of the First Philippine Republic. The celebrations were led by then-President Fidel V. Ramos. Contemporary history. Rizal Park in 2022 viewed from the controversial Torre de Manila. Rizal Park was renovated by the National Parks Development Committee in 2011. The German-Filipino William Schare, who built the old musical dancing fountain at the 40 meters times 100 meters, 130 feet times 330 feet, pool in the 1960s, handled its restoration. Among the other things that were restored were the flower clock, now known as the world-class Filipino bloom, the Noli Me Tangere Garden and the Luz Viminda Boardwalk, which were opened just in time for the 150th birthday celebration of José Rizal. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Rizal Park was temporarily closed to the public in March 2020. The COVID-19 community quarantine measures allowed the NDPC to rehabilitate the park. Select sites within the park were later opened. The Manila COVID-19 Field Hospital was also built in the park's Burnham Green, as a temporary facility. Notable events. Aerial shot of the Rizal Park during Pope Francis's concluding Mass. February 18, 1981. The Beatification Mass of St. Lorenzo Ruiz and Companions. It is considered the first beatification ceremony ever held outside the Vatican in church history during the apostolic visit of Pope John Paul II. February 16, 1986. Various mass protests like the Tagumpay Bayan Rally were held in the park as opposition to the rule of Ferdinand Marcos. This culminated into the People Power Revolution. January 15, 1995. The closing Mass of the 10th World Youth Day 1995 was held here, attended by more than 10 million people. This is the record gathering of the Roman Catholic Church. June 12, 1998. The Philippine Centennial celebrations featured a grand centennial parade culminating in a fireworks display emanating from ships in Manila Bay that was the most expensive ever produced in the country at the time. Rizal Park had over 5 million celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Philippine Declaration of Independence, December 31, 1999 to January 1, 2000. The turn of the century celebration was held here, attended by more than 500,000 people. October 10, 2004. The special episode of SOP for the Kapuso Victory Party was held here and aired on GMA Network. November 27, 2005. Rizal Park was the venue of the opening ceremony for the 2005 Southeast Asian Games at the Quirino Grandstand. It was held at an open-air park instead of a stadium, a historic first for a Southeast Asian Games opening ceremony. It was again used on December 5, 2005, for the Games closing ceremony. August 23, 2010. The park was the site of the 11-hour hostage crisis where a Hong Thai travel services tour group on a coach was hijacked by Rolando Mendoza, causing 9 casualties, including Mendoza, and 9 injuries. August 22 to 26, 2013. The Million People March was held in the park, and other different locations, to protest against the improper use of Priority Development Assistance Fund. January 18, 2015. The concluding Mass of the papal visit of Pope Francis was held here, attended by more than 6 million people, making it the largest papal gathering in history.
Ganda no? Building up. Lahat ganda. Hoy, kasi lumakuha na ito.